The News 4 Rundown starts now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Hadley. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you tonight. Coming up, the pick is in, and Wizards fans are excited about their new young star, A.J. Dubonsa. We'll hear from Washington's last #1 overall pick about this year's top pick and how he fits in with his new teammates. Plus, more than a century of history contained in one local cemetery. Woodlawn Cemetery is the final resting place for thousands of Washingtonians. More on the history of this hidden treasure. And as we approach our nation's 250th birthday, we take a walk along the same landscapes that Harriet Tubman used to carry herself and others away from slavery. But we begin tonight with a look at the results of the Maryland primaries so far. NBC News projects State Delegate Adrian Boafo has won the Democratic primary to replace the retiring longtime Congressman Steny Hoyer. Hoyer endorsed Boafo for the seat representing Maryland's 5th congressional district. He beat out 24 opponents and will move on to the general election in November, where he'll face Republican Chris Chaffee. Another closely watched and highly anticipated race, the Democratic primary in Maryland's 6th district. April McLean Delaney is projected to win that race, the Congresswoman fending off her predecessor, former Congressman David Trone, in a heated and expensive primary. She'll get to defend her seat in the fall when she faces Republican Robin Ficker. Now, McLean Delaney says she's focused on what's next for the National Democratic Party.
This is just the first step, and actually the progress towards flipping the House in November and making sure that we rein in this administration and start getting things done for the American people and for all of us here in Maryland.
This November, we'll be getting a rematch of the 2022 governor's race. Maryland Governor Wes Moore easily secured the Democratic nomination. And on the Republican side, attorney and former state delegate Dan Cox he won the Republican primary once again. We've reached out to the Cox campaign about his win over Republican banker Ed Hale. We have yet to hear back. But state Republican Senate Minority Leader Steve Hershey released a statement following their win, saying that 4 years ago, Wes Moore was a candidate making promises. Today, he's an incumbent defending a record. He went on to say Marylanders are paying more in utilities and taxes. Today, Moore said he'd welcome a debate with Cox and stands by his record.
I look forward to debating Dan Cox because, listen, I'm very proud of our record. I'm proud of the fact that we have delivered a record drop in violent crime inside of the state of Maryland in our time here. I'm proud of the fact that we have been able to get our economy going and added over 55,000 new businesses inside of the state of Maryland.
No call yet in the Montgomery County executive race, but Will Jawando holds a nearly 7,000 vote lead over his next closest competitor, and will follow fellow county council member Adrian Friedson. Councilmember Evan Glass is in 3rd position. Mail-in ballots are still being counted in this race across the state. As we wait for primary results to be finalized, make sure you have the NBC Washington app. We're posting all the election results there. You can also scan the QR code on your screen. Well, the National Mall is buzzing with activity tonight. These live pictures from EarthCam show a crane near the main stage for the Great American State Fair. The State Fair is just the latest event downtown, which has seen a UFC fight, reflecting pool problems, lots of extra security, and lots of road closures, too. So if you're planning to go anywhere near the mall to celebrate over the next week or so, you're going to want to plan ahead. Mauricio Casillas is working for you tonight with a look at where things stand.
We wanted to get a state of the National Mall. We checked out the reflecting pool, we checked out the ellipse, we went up and down where the Great American State Fair has been set up. And let me tell you, it is difficult to get around. Road closures that you may not expect, even sidewalk closures that you may not expect. If you're taking a ride share, the driver where they usually drop you off, that area might be closed. So it's been really difficult to get around. You know, the district is used to big events, used to road closures, used to rallies, things of that nature. This just feels different, and this is why. It's the Great American State Fair. You can see the Ferris wheel behind me. This is near 7th and Madison Drive. And there's a lot of people set up. It kicks off officially tomorrow. If you're coming down here, if this is a part of your commute, Just keep in mind that you're going to want to be prepared and you're going to want to pack your patience. Fences, beefed up security, closures, all making it much trickier to get around the National Mall. There were plenty of people who stopped by the reflecting pool, checking out where things stand with the controversial makeover.
I would say this is the biggest disruption I've seen since even after January 6th, it wasn't as bad as this. I cannot compare this to anything.
I think it's pretty cool, actually. It's neat to see it actually in action. It's not static, it's living. So I think it's it's a great testament to a lot of vision over generations.
And things are constantly changing down here. You can see crews are taking down some of the fencing that was set up by the ellipse. And then you could see the impact of the UFC 250 event that was recently held here. On the grass in the ellipse, there's dark and discolored patches. As for road closures, take a look. Madison Drive closed from 3rd Street to 14th Street Northwest. Jefferson Drive from 3rd to 14th as well, and closures for Independence and Constitution Avenues in that same area. Becky Brower says she's got a party of 10 coming down for the Great American State Fair.
It feels different, but at the same time, it's just good to see the patriotic flags. I mean, because you can't deny, no matter how you feel, it's like we are here in America, no matter what you think and who you vote for.
Others, though, aren't a big fan of the major transformations undergone for the Freedom 250 celebrations.
It's an inconvenience, and it's been politicized to such an extent that I feel like I'm actually participating in a political rally or a political party, and that's not what it should be about to me.
And President Donald Trump is kicking off the Great American State Fair with a rally of sorts later on at the National Mall. Right over there is the entrance where his supporters have been coming through. He's set to speak at 8:30. And as a result of the president's speech, important thing to keep in mind, Metro is a great option to get around, but Metro is saying that the Smithsonian Station's National Mall site entrance is going to be closed until 10:30 tonight, but the 12th Street and Independence Avenue station entrance will remain open. Now, this is just the beginning, folks. The Great American State Fair is going to be going on until July 10th. Reporting in the district, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
Now to some of tonight's other top stories. Pepco is preparing now to respond to power outages as the threat of severe weather increases during the summer months. The utility tells us it monitors forecasts and positions repair crews across the DMV so they can restore power to as many people as possible, as fast as possible. Pepco says restoring power to hospitals and other critical services is the top priority. There will soon be more options to fly out of BWI Marshall Airport. Starting in October, Breeze Airways will offer nonstop flights to Burlington, Vermont and Vero Beach, Florida. The Breeze flights will operate 3 times a week. They'll be available to book on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday beginning in October. Metro says it is going to spend tens of millions of dollars to replace the old fare machines at all 98 stations. Metro is calling the new machines customer terminals. The new machines will accept smartphone payments, provide helpful information, and also be able to be translated into 15 languages. If all goes according to plan, these new fare machines should roll out in about a year.
With the first pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Anise Debonsa Jr. from Brigham Young University.
Say hello to the newest member of the Wizards. Last night, Washington chose A.J. Debonsa with the #1 overall pick in the NBA Draft. The 6'9" All-American became the Wizards' 3rd top draft pick in franchise history. The last time Washington had the #1 pick, they brought John Wall to town. Our Dominic Moody caught up with the former Wizard about how A.J. fits into the team now and Wall's new role as the president of basketball operations for Howard University.
To know that A.J. became the #1 pick, what is that like for a young man coming into the league?
I'm just dope. I think it's a dream come true. I think all the sacrifices his family, his team made for him, the sacrifices he made as a young man coming into this league is dope. I think it's a little different than me. Like now you have NIL, so they already touched a little bit of money compared to when I came in, but he's super excited. He's a kid that knows basketball very well. He studied the game. He has a great IQ. He loves to play basketball. He loves to talk about basketball. But he also comes with that aura, that swag, that leadership, that chip on his shoulder where he walks in knowing who he is and he's confident in every room he walks in. And that's key coming into the league where you have so much great young talent that he's joining with a couple of veteran guys also.
What would be your advice that you would give to AJ as he comes into the DC area?
One, just be yourself. Just be authentic, be true to yourself. The DMV love basketball, they love sports, you know that. But the team he has around him, and the Washington Wizards, they have to do a great job of, you know, when you're with the Washington Wizards organization, they're going to put you in community events, you know what I mean, because you do it as a team, you do it as a whole, do it as a group. But you also branch off and have your own foundation and have something you want to do on your own. And that's kind of how I got myself involved. But don't be scared to go outside. Don't be scared to touch the people. Let them know you're normal just like them. But most important, it's not the money you give, it's the time you give.
How does he fit into this Wizards team that they've kind of built?
Fits in good. I think it's going to be very difficult to see how things work, you know what I mean? Because you have God, Trae Young, that's, we know, a great point guard that can get 25 and 10 on any given night. But you have a power forward that also can get you 25 and 14 with 3 blocks at the same time. But then you add in 2 young guys in Keyshawn George or Trey Johnson or Bilal Coulibaly, or you go look at Alex Sarr, where they're trying to establish themselves in the league of they belong and they can become a star.
Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you to become the president of basketball operations at Howard University.
Well, you know, everybody ought to know me. I want to be like a general manager of the NBA team, but I got the opportunity to come be captain of the day. And last year, come watch them play and sit around, talk around the team, talk with Coach Blakely and them, and just meet some great people. And I've always came around here and doing homecoming and things like that. And they reached out and said, what do you think about being president of basketball operations? I'm like, yeah, it's a great opportunity for me to understand the business side of it. Basketball, I have conversation with a lot of great people and love to debate all the time about who this player is, does this person fit? And I think a lot of times with a lot of GMs, it's just because you're nice and I'm nice don't mean we mesh together. You have to figure out how to do that, work together with personality, character, they vibe together. How can they be on the court? Ain't you?
You know.
Ain't you?
You know.
There we go.
Much more to come tonight on the News 4 Rundown, including what Mother Nature has in store after today's spectacular Wednesday.
And after a beautiful day, a beautiful night, 82 degrees right now. Temperatures will fall into the 70s by 8, 9 o'clock, and absolutely gorgeous with clear skies. Tomorrow we're warmer with some storms on Friday, the latest in my full forecast after the break.
A historic cemetery in D.C. is looking for help preserving its legacy, while also inviting more people to learn its history. Woodlawn Cemetery in southeast D.C. opened back in 1895. It serves as the final resting place for tens of thousands of Washingtonians, including 2 of the first African-American members of Congress and founders of 2 of the most noted historically black sororities. News 4's Mark Seagraves takes us behind the locked gates of this hidden treasure. It's a story you'll only see on News 4.
The iron gate to Woodlawn Cemetery is almost always locked shut. But Tony White Richardson was more than happy to let News 4 inside today. As president of the Woodlawn Cemetery Perpetual Care Association, she was excited to talk about what makes this resting place so special.
It's major D.C. history first. Then it's also major black history second.
More than 30,000 people, mostly African Americans, are buried here in the 22 acres of Woodlawn Cemetery. And like so many cemeteries that date back to the 1800s, particularly African American cemeteries, this one has fallen into disrepair, overgrown, and headstones tumbled over, like these here of Wilhelmina and her husband James, and Eliza Spencer, a mother who died in 1887.
Let me do a very upfront disclaimer. We have no idea where these stones go. And when we looked at the grid, it became even clear as mud. It became less clear as to where these stones should really go. Unfortunately, when we look back, we can tell there was a plan, but we're going to see where it never got totally completed, even back then. There are no markers saying this is section H or this is section G or this is 102 and this is none of that.
2 of the more notable Washingtonians laid to rest here: John Mercer Langston, Virginia's first African-American congressman.
Langston University came one year because they had a grand reunion in D.C. and we arranged for them to come to see, where's he at? He's back behind here, John Mercer Langston. the university that was named after this man.
And Blanche Bruce, the first African-American U.S. Senator to serve a full term and Register of the Treasury.
He's the signature on our dollar bill, you know, back in the late 1800s. So, oh, it's history. It's with capital letters, no getting around it.
The Perpetual Care Association recently received a grant from the D.C. Office of Planning to help with upkeep of the grounds and preserving the history here.
These are important individuals who've made contributions to the district a century ago, but today still their history and their stories reverberate and really influence the trajectory of our city.
The cemetery, tucked away off Benning Road, is only open to the public 5 days a year, but groups can request tours anytime, and they're always looking for volunteers and donors to help with upkeep of this sacred ground. In Southeast, Mark Seagraves, News 4.
What a Wednesday. And folks, Amelia says we have one more on the way tomorrow.
I mean, phenomenal weather tomorrow. Today was great. Temperatures were in the mid-80s. The humidity was low. It's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow, but still really nice. Yeah. So looking at your weather headlines, gorgeous tonight. For tomorrow, temperatures warming into the upper 80s. Just a little hint of humidity, but it's still a great day. Today, my pick day of the week. Tomorrow is a close second. And then for Friday, an isolated shower is possible during the morning hours with some scattered late-day thunderstorms. Not everybody sees rain on Friday, but if you do see some storms later in the day, they could be strong to severe. The biggest threats would be heavy rain and gusty damaging winds. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 70s and low 80s, and we start off tomorrow at a beautiful 70 degrees at 8 a.m. Once again, it's not too hot tomorrow during the morning hours. 10 a.m. we're still in the 70s. Lunch tomorrow outdoors. Probably want to sit in the shade with the temperature at that point of 82. A high temperature tomorrow of 87. Right on track for this time of year. Then as we look to future weather, timing out the rain, there could be some rain overnight Thursday. This is Friday morning. There's a timestamp at 8 a.m. Notice the chance for a few showers with this one computer model. Otherwise, we start off Friday with plenty of clouds. As some sunshine develops later in the day, that's going to help to fuel some scattered showers and some thunderstorms. Here's future weather at 3 o'clock. Notice how as we head into the late afternoon and early evening hours, 5, 6 o'clock, seeing some spotty showers, some bright colors with future weather. But again, I'm not anticipating widespread severe weather. But if you do have plans Friday night, you'll want to stay weather ready. Here's 10 o'clock, still tracking some areas of rain and some embedded downpours as well. Saturday, unfortunately, it looks like we'll have some rain at times during the day. We have dry time as well, but kind of on and off rain showers are possible throughout the day with cloudy skies. Otherwise, 10 a.m. Notice the rain mainly in northern Virginia, far western Maryland, but by lunchtime, we're seeing that rain in the D.C. metro area. And then on Sunday, it's looking like the better of the two weekend days with just an isolated shower or thunderstorm possible. So the best pool days for the remainder of the work week going to be tomorrow and then on your Sunday as well. Looking at your Storm Team 4 4-day forecast, 87 tomorrow, 90 on Friday. Saturday, a high temperature of 83 degrees. We're in the mid 80s on Sunday. The humidity is not too bad over the weekend. Next week, Monday, a high of 87. After that, temperatures in the 90s, upper 90s by next Thursday and Friday. Right now, the 4th is looking dry with a high of 93. We're headed to break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Sail 250 has made it to Maryland after stops in New Orleans and Norfolk. The Maritime Celebration has sailed its way to Baltimore. Ships from around the world are here to celebrate, of course, America's 250th birthday. The festivities will also take to the air this weekend with an air show featuring the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. Our Tommy McFly will be covering it all live from Baltimore starting tomorrow. Tommy also is helping us count down to Independence Day by going beyond the marble, taking us to historic places across our region, away from the monuments and museums we all know. Today, he's along the Harriet Tubman Byway, which stretches more than 125 miles.
Harriet Tubman is an American hero. She commanded battle. She brought others to freedom after finding her own. And Linda Harris is a historian. You've walked these steps on the Underground Railroad.
Absolutely, and congratulations for joining me on this walk. We are squarely on the Underground Railroad, and you're going to enjoy it.
45 stops,
45
all the way
stops,
on the byway.
All the way on the byway, from here all the way to Philadelphia. Blackwater Refuge. Okay, look around. This is where Harriet Tubman had her first job as an enslaved little girl. She was rented to a man named Cook, and Cook was in the muskrat business. They build these mounds. There's an example of a mound over there. Her job was to walk barefoot in the icy Blackwater River, stick her hand inside the mound, and pull out muskrat, half-dead muskrat. But the worst of it is, if she stuck her hand in that mound and retrieved no muskrat, Cook would beat her, and tell her she was no good. It happened here. This was her first job.
This place is visually beautiful. Then you think about below the grass and below the water, the horrors that happened here.
The horrible things, yeah. We're not done.
We're just getting started.
We got a lot more to do. Let's go. Awesome. Great. One of the code songs, if you'll indulge me, was Wade in the Water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. They knew that the water was the way to freedom. That's a code song. Wade, W-A-D. Wade in the water really meant wait in the water, W-A-I-T. If you're on the Underground Railroad being pursued by men on horseback with guns and dogs, get in the water. So here we are at Long Wharf. Now this is where the slave ships came and docked. So imagine modesty. This is Harriet Tubman's grandmother. She was about 18, maybe 18 to 20, we're not sure. Imagine being shackled at your wrists and ankles and stacked at the belly of a slave ship like a sardine in a can.
For 3 to 5 months.
3 to 5 months, right? Imagine that. And they buy her right here on the pier. And this is how come we know about Harriet Tubman, because of her fantastic grandmother. All right, so we're not done.
I was hoping we
We're
weren't
not
done.
The best is yet to come. This statue is in front of the Dorchester County Courthouse. In the days of Harriet Tubman, this very courthouse is where slave auctions took place. It wasn't always the desire of the county to have her here. This statue tells her whole story, believe it or not. This is the young Araminta Ross, born in 1822. She's barefoot. She's wearing tattered clothing. She's sitting on a bed of shackles. She's reaching up to the free Harriet Tubman, who became free in 1849. Notice the difference. She's got on shoes. She's got on a proper dress. She's holding the North Star in her hand. And young Araminta is reaching up to her hand because in that is a key. And the key is to unlock the shackles at my feet. Art is the way to tell a story. It really is, because you'll remember seeing this statue.
Thank you so much for this incredible journey.
Oh, wonderful tour. But I got one more place to show you.
Well, let's do it.
All right. Harriet Tubman Museum and Education Center. We've been here since 1992. So you got to come in and take a look.
Come on.
All right. We had a flood last year.
Wow.
And we had to reimagine Harriet Tubman's journey. So
Every inch of this place is art. It's beautiful.
This is our art history. This is our way now of telling the Harriet Tubman story.
In every single nook and cranny of this building.
Every nook and cranny represents her struggles to find freedom.
What's the story
So
here?
this, 1849, after being enslaved for 27 years, she finally walks to freedom. So this represents her first time walking above the Mason-Dixon line, getting to Philadelphia.
All around the city of brotherly love, you can feel and see Harriet Tubman's legacy. It's here where she coordinated with abolitionist William Still to get even more people to freedom.
So incredible. Tommy, thanks for sharing that piece with us. That's going to do it for us on the News 4 Rundown for this Wednesday night. Be sure to join us right back here for News 4 at 11. For now, I'm Jim Adley. Have a great night, everybody.